What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about how to make a budget. The average American, based on statistics in the United States, cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. So with that information, we obviously know that there's an issue with budgeting. If you're one of those Americans, you're not the only one. You're with 99% of those Americans. And if you want to step ahead, then continue to watch this video and I'll show you how to make a budget. Quick little backstory on my finances. I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years. Within that 4-year time period, I was able to accumulate $80,000. But I actually didn't accumulate any of it. I got out of the Marine Corps at the end of the 4-year term with negative $23,000 in debt at a 23% interest rate on my debt. So in that 4-year time period, I spent $103,000 with absolutely nothing to show for it, but negative 20 at a 23% interest rate. That is absurd. In my defense, this was the first time I had ever touched money. I came from a family that was not, we had what we needed. That was it. We never had anything extra. We didn't go out to eat. We did all of our shopping at thrift stores. We never got new things. We had a lot of hand-me-downs from people. So money wasn't something that I was used to, and I felt like I was on top of the world. When you first touch money, it's your instinct to start spending it and start buying all the things that you could never have and try to express how much money that you have because it's cool or whatever. What you don't know is you're actually becoming stuck in a consumer trap. You're staying broke. You'll never get out of that trap no matter how much money you make. If you can't learn how to handle money at the beginning phase, you will not be able to handle money at a higher phase, no matter how much money you're making. There's millionaires that live paycheck to paycheck. I believe the statistic is like 4 out of 5 are living paycheck to paycheck, making $1 million a year. How is that even possible? I know people, including my family, that were making, who knows, like $30,000 a year and still with 4 kids, still eating and everything like that. So if we were able to make do with that, then why can't I make do with $1 million? That was my mindset. That's when it really hit me. I got out of the Marine Corps. I was making pretty good money. And it was probably about 6 months before I had that revelation, because I looked at my bank account and I was still broke. I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And I said, that's it. Something has to change. And so now I'm going to give you guys the same knowledge that I learned in that time period. After that 4 years, after that hibernation period that I call it, I was able to accumulate a massive savings account, pay off all my debt, buy a house, start a business. Everything changed. The first step would be no longer looking at money as an object, but rather a tool. How can I make this work for me? It's an exemplification of time and effort. It is not a physical object. So when you're going out to the store and you want to buy something, buy a pair of shoes, it costs $300. It only costs $50 to make because they understand consumerism. Then you think, okay, was this worth 4 hours of my time? Probably more depending on the shoe, to wear this pair of shoes. Or should I take this same money, invest it into the stock market, and over the course of 50 years forget about it, and it could turn into, multiple thousands of dollars. And that's just on a pair of shoes. Think about that every single time. Compounding effect, compounding interest is absolutely amazing. Warren Buffett lives by it, stands by it. So for the purpose of this video, and this seems a little bit high, but obviously it's including millionaires. And I guess the millionaires need a little bit of help as well, because 4 out of 5 of them are living paycheck to paycheck. The average income in America is $63,795 per month. $63,795. I'm not per year. Per year. Average income. Okay? That breaks down to $5,316 per month. When you're making a budget, a lot of times people will say, oh, I make $5,316 a month, so I can afford it, or I'm going to budget it based off of that. Stop. You haven't included taxes yet. So we'll do after taxes, you're at $4,518. $4,518 per month. After taxes. This is what you should be budgeting off of. Not pre-tax, after tax. Because then when your bills come up and you said, what, I made $5,316, why isn't my cost of living aligning correctly? Because you did it off of something that you'll never see. You'll never see it. You forgot to take out the taxes and give the share to Uncle Sam. Okay? So now that we have this, you're going to say, okay, I make $4,518 per month. The goal, if you're young, you don't have a family, and you can live with somebody, I know it sucks, do it. The more money you can save, the more potential you have. And you have to think about it like a short grind. This is not going to be forever. I just know what I want in the future, and I know what I have to do. You have to cut down as much as possible. The next thing would be cutting out all expenses that you don't need. Netflix, YouTube Prime, whatever, all these other expenses that you do not need, cut them out. Also, what are you driving? Are you in an equity position or are you in a negative equity position? If you're in an equity position, sell it and get you a beater. Drive it around, save as much money as you possibly can. The more money that you have working for you, the faster the compound effect will be prevalent. You'll be able to see it. So we're going to do a pie chart here. I like to do expenses. So this is what you will be spending, period. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We're going to say probably 50% of that, and that's gas, car payment, car insurance, rent, food, everything like that is going to be probably 50% of your income. 50%. So 50% of that would be $2,200. We'll just say $2,200 for the sake of whatever. Boom. 2,200 expenses. So that leaves me left with, and obviously this is a rounded number, $2,200. Now a lot of people say, wow, I have $2,200 left over after all my expenses. What can I spend it on? What can I buy? What car can I afford? Instead of thinking, all right, what do I want with my future? What do I want to build? So, thinking that way, a good rule of thumb would be, okay, one, if you have debt, you need to pay off the debt as fast as possible. The average credit card interest rate is about 23%. So if you have, the reason you wouldn't want to start building your savings before you start paying off your debt is because your savings is sitting there depreciating at 7% per year. You're losing 7% of whatever money's sitting in your savings account while the bank is doing what you should be doing, investing it and making massive returns. So stop letting your money sit there and depreciate, but rather pay off your debt that's charging you 23% on top of whatever you already owe. Pay that off. Debt is bondage. Debt holds you back. Debt prevents you from being able to start something. Debt is no good. If you watch Dave Ramsey, he talks about if you can't buy it in cash, don't buy it at all. I have a little bit of a different perspective on that because I did start my business using the bank's money, and then my business paid off that loan, meaning that I actually never came out of pocket if you really think about it. Bank used their money, and then other people paid it off, and then I reaped the benefit. And that's how business works. So 2,200, boom, 23, pay off debt. Pay off debt. Your budget should be oriented around paying off debt until you no longer have debt. Once the debt is paid, now we can start investing. I'm sorry, not investing. Now we can start saving. It's good to have about 6 months on hand of your expenses. So your goal would be to save 2,200 times 6. That's the building. So when you're writing your budget, put down goal. My goal 1, pay off debt. 2, save 6 months. 3, cut out all wants and replace with needs. Okay? So we have $2,200 left after that. Let's say we have no debt. What you would do with that is honestly break it in half. What I would do, use that $200 for leisure, and then put $1,000 a month, invest, and $1,000 a month in savings. Boom. Ideally, if you want to really grow, your expenses should be less than you're investing and saving. You should be growing more than staying stagnant. If you think about money as a tool, because chasing money gets old, especially if you're just chasing material objects, you'll realize that nothing makes you happy except putting in work into something that you actually truly enjoy. So building a company, building a barbershop, building a vending machine company, building a valet trash company, building a grocery store, whatever it is, you have a physical thing that's working for you, making money, it's helping your family. You can now employ your family members, you can employ people that need jobs, and it's fulfilling because you can watch it grow. It's like your child and you're watching it grow and it's becoming something bigger and it's being leveraged. So with that in mind, you want to be saving and investing more than your expenses are, ideally. Now, if that's just not possible for you, save as much as humanly possible. You know the stress that comes with always having to look at your bank account to make sure that you can fund whatever it is that you're trying to do for fun. And as a man, I understand the want to provide for your family and to provide for people, but sometimes you have to be, that's what makes a man. You have to make a decision that says, listen, family, I love you guys. I want to provide for you, but I have a vision and I'm going to make it happen. So we're going to, as a team, make a sacrifice, put things on hold, and I promise you it's going to come back tenfold with this sacrificial period. Not only is that going to actually benefit them in the future, but it's also going to give them tangible skills that they can learn. Wow, my dad did this. My dad came from that. He changed this, or my mom, whatever, came from this situation and changed it, and I saw it, and now they're going to be able to do that in their future. I never got that example, so I had to learn the hard way. I had to make $80,000 and spend $103,000 and have a revelation, living paycheck to paycheck, being miserable and stressed all the time, to say, all right, I need to make a change and something needs to happen. Thankfully, YouTube exists, and because YouTube helped me out, I feel an obligation and responsibility to also help you guys out in relaying that message. Stop spending money on things that don't matter. Look at money as a tool and use it to your benefit. Stop being a consumer. That has been the TED Talk. If you learned anything, please like and subscribe. I've got more videos coming.